that QR code or go to huel.com/Phil and use code Phil, $75 minimum. And the crimes. And then the number of weapons seized fell 73% from more than 40,000 to just over 11,000. And those numbers are even more notable because you have the White House claiming that cracking down on drug smuggling is a major priority. Something that they've argued, they're proving their commitment by killing dozens of people in the Caribbean without publicly providing evidence that they're actually smuggling drugs. So again, even if they had that evidence, it wouldn't necessarily make it legal. And of course, again, that's without even mentioning that you have experts saying this strategy won't actually stop the flow of drugs from coming into the US anyways. And as a further reason to doubt its claims, other federal agencies outside of Homeland Security investigations have also reportedly diverted resources to the immigration crackdown. Right, agencies including the Drug Enforcement Administration as well as the FBI and ATF. And so So with that, this internal report does show that the number of people arrested by Homeland Security special agents for civil immigration offenses has absolutely skyrocketed. They went from roughly 5,000 to almost 95,000. Also, notably, overall criminal arrests went up 41%, with the Times reporting that this increase is at least partly driven by investigations often related to immigration. But also a big thing is that roughly 12,000 of the arrests, a whole quarter of them, were not categorized by crime type, so it's not entirely clear what's actually behind them. Right, and then with that, you had a White House spokesperson reportedly declining to explain what kinds of arrests are behind most of the overall increase. And that's especially interesting because even though we're seeing more arrests, the number of people indicted has stayed roughly the same. Agents also aren't opening as many cases considered significant, like ones into international criminal groups. And despite the jump in human trafficking arrests, agents reported assisting 20% fewer victims. Now, with all that, you had a DHS spokesperson claiming child exploitation, human trafficking, terrorism, financial scams, and smuggling all have a nexus to illegal immigration, and then repeating what's often been said by this administration: we are prioritizing the worst of the worst and aliens with final removal orders. But again, the data tells a different story because many immigrants being arrested don't have criminal records in the U.S. In fact, according to the Times, less than 40% of people detained by ICE have a criminal conviction. Right, and only around 8% of those arrested have been convicted of a violent crime, with a slightly bigger percentage only having a traffic violation. And so, once again, it just appears we have another situation where the administration is saying one thing, that the data, though, shows a completely different thing. But also, even saying that, it is important to remember it's not just data. We're talking about people. Right, but then next up today, we've got to talk about how, exactly 14 months and 2 weeks after he announced to the American people,
I have concepts of a plan.
Donald Trump was finally ready to unveil an actual healthcare plan yesterday, and then everything just blew up. Right, because for some context here, on New Year's Day, the Enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies will expire. And that is going to cause 22 million Americans' health insurance premiums to just shoot through the roof unless Republicans do something. And so apparently the White House, they've been crafting a plan to avert this crisis because yesterday Trump was expected to unveil it. But then, get ready, because you're not going to believe it, the plan was reportedly to extend the ACA subsidies for 2 years, which when people heard that, they were shocked. I mean, Trump, he's spent months ranting in all caps on Truth Social about how these subsidies would give $1 trillion to illegal aliens and create transgender for everybody. But it's also crucial to note he's not just conceding to Democrats here, because reportedly his plan would cut off anyone making 700% of the federal poverty level from being eligible, as well as eliminate zero premium plans, making everyone pay at least something. Also, people who choose a lower premium plan could redirect some federal aid into a health savings account. And then finally, there would be new and broader restrictions on care for transgender folks and undocumented immigrants. All of that was reportedly the plan, but then, just as quickly as it arrived, it ran out the door with its hat and coat. In fact, it was just such a beautiful thing to watch. CNN's Jessica Dean, from the time between her announcing the two events, it was exactly 38 seconds.
We're learning President Trump is planning to unveil a new health care proposal, I'm sorry, this has actually been, sorry, Zach, we're getting breaking news while I'm talking to you. I have learned that the White House has postponed its expected unveiling of this new health care proposal.
So understandably, that left people wondering, what the hell happened, right? Why this abrupt last-minute reversal? And the answer actually seems pretty clear so far. Republicans freak the fuck out. Or I guess I should say Republican politicians and healthcare lobbyists. Or because reportedly, many lawmakers on Capitol Hill had no idea this was coming. Apparently, they learned about this the same way everyone else did, through the press and social media. And so according to the Wall Street Journal, Speaker Mike Johnson called the White House and warned that most House Republicans just don't have the appetite for extending the subsidies. You had sources saying that many objections stem from the absence of more stringent restrictions on abortion coverage in Trump's plan. And that's in addition to the whole extending the subsidies part, which for mainstream Republicans is tantamount to heresy. Right? They've been waging a moral crusade against Obamacare, as they call it, for the last 15 years. Hell, we just had the longest government shutdown in U.S. history over this. And so with that, you had Thomas Massie saying on X, oh boy, more 4D chess? A vote to extend Obamacare? That's the Republican solution to healthcare? With also several unnamed Republican lawmakers telling MS Now, formerly known as MSNBC, stuff like, I wasn't expecting the proposal to be Obamacare light. It's definitely not the Doge thing to do, and fix healthcare for working Americans, or don't talk to me about subsidies. But now, as far as what's next, there's only a month left to figure something out, and lawmakers are going to spend much of that time on break for the holidays. So basically when they get back from Thanksgiving, they'll be faced with a choice, and it's a tough one. Either extend the enhanced subsidies and for the first time ever put the Republican seal on an approval for an expansion of Obama's evil, communist, totalitarian death care conspiracy, or let the subsidies expire and watch as premiums explode for 22 million people heading into an election year. Which is why you're seeing that the lawmakers open to Trump's plan, they seem to be more moderate ones in competitive districts. Though I will say you also have conservative Republicans like Tim Burchett saying, we've got to quit pointing fingers. We've got to start doing something with this thing. At least Trump's proposal does something. It keeps people from losing their insurance, and it verifies that it's not a bunch of frauds. Now, as far as the Democrats' response to all this, you had a few of the ones who voted to end the shutdown earlier this month expressing a willingness to compromise with Trump on a deal. But you also had the overwhelming majority rejecting the plan as it was reported, insisting instead a straightforward extension on the subsidies without any new restrictions. And also with this, right, if Trump throws in an anti-abortion bone to try to appease his further right Republicans, it's likely going to kill off much of, if any, Democratic support that he was hoping to court. Now, also, of course, with this, Trump could try to bypass Democratic opposition in the Senate by using a process called budget reconciliation to pass the bill, which only requires 50 votes instead of 60. Or the Republicans could try to attach a healthcare measure to a must-pass funding bill and force it through the same way. But either way, one, Senate Leader John Thune did promise Democrats a mid-December vote on extending the subsidies in exchange for ending the shutdown. But then also, two, Mike Johnson never promised a thing, and the last time I checked, the U.S. Congress is made up of two chambers, the Senate and the House. Who knows what's going to happen there? While we're waiting to see what happens, you also have White House officials telling MS Now, which, by the way, I just feel like very stupid name, that Trump's postponed announcement of his plan, it will actually happen soon. And with that saying, until President Trump makes an announcement himself, any reporting about the administration's healthcare positions is mere speculation. But also, they did acknowledge that the initial plan is now being actively reworked. And, personally, I just cannot wait to see whatever the hell it is, because we've been 2 weeks away from Trump's healthcare plan since 2016. And then we'll get back to the news in just a minute. But first, let me say, you ever put off scheduling a doctor's appointment so long that you start convincing yourself you're fine? Like, yeah, WebMD says I'm dying, but denial says I'm built different. Well, that is why today's sponsor, ZocDoc, is a lifesaver for people like me who treat I'll book it later as a full-time hobby. You see, ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment. We're talking over 100,000 doctors across every specialty: mental health, dental, primary care, urgent care. Basically, if it ends in ologist, they've got it. You can also filter by location, insurance, and verified patient rating, so you actually find someone who fits you, not whoever's just available next decade. Once you do, you can see the real-time openings and book instantly. No phone tag, no hold music, no press 2 to cry softly. I mean, most appointments happen within 24 to 72 hours, sometimes the same day. So translation, you could finish this ad and already have your doctor lined up. And I personally use ZocDoc because my strategy of, just walking it off, it stopped working after 30. So hey, stop putting off those doctor's appointments, scan that QR code, or go to ZocDoc.com/Phil to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/Phil. ZocDoc.com/Phil. But then next up today, are we going to finally see the end of the war in Ukraine? Because you've got headlines like Ukraine reportedly agrees to U.S. brokered peace proposal and Ukraine agrees to core terms of peace deal, making that seem like it. But there's actually a big asterisk to all of this, and that is Ukraine has agreed to the framework of a potential peace deal. So, a far cry from an actual peace deal. And if this sounds familiar, it's because just over a week ago, the U.S. had gotten Russia to agree to a peace deal, except it was considered a complete concession to Russian demands. And, at the time, Ukraine made it clear that it wasn't going to agree to that and would even go forward alone if it had to. And also, since then, the country's been rocked by a major corruption scandal which possibly forced Zelensky to reconsider a peace deal. In this recent round of talks, it seems to have started early this week with American negotiators speaking to Russian ones. And yesterday, they talked with the Ukrainians who apparently agreed to the core of this reported new peace plan. An unnamed official also saying that the small details will still need to be worked out. And you had White House spokesperson Caroline Leavitt essentially confirming all of this on X. Writing over the past week, the United States has made tremendous progress towards a peace deal by bringing both Ukraine and Russia to the table, and saying there are a few delicate but not insurmountable details that must be sorted out and will require further talks between Ukraine, Russia, and the United States. And then you had Zelensky himself writing, "Today our delegation returned from Geneva after negotiations with the American side and European partners. Now the list of necessary steps to end the war can become doable. There is still work for all of us to do together to finalize the document, and we must do everything with dignity. We appreciate that most of the world is ready to help us and that the American side is approaching this constructively." But also one big question is why Trump decided to even negotiate another deal with Ukraine. Because last week he was extremely hardlined about his 28-point plan with Russia and gave Zelensky an ultimatum to respond by Thursday. And well, it looks like partially it could be because a lot of the Republican Party flipped out. I mean, for example, you had people like Representative Don Bacon writing, "The initial peace proposal pushed by Witkoff was a surrender document for Ukraine that would have left it at the mercy of Russia for decades to come. With Rubio back and with Ukrainian and European input, we are seeing a better plan. We must stand on the side of freedom and rule of law." And that, as you had Representative Brian Fitzpatrick adding that the deal was nothing more than Russia's absurd wish list that should be dismissed and shredded for the garbage that it is. And in total, dozens of Republican lawmakers have reportedly been vocally against it. Now, as far as next steps, from here, the U.S. will likely take the plan to Russia, which has only kind of commented on this development. Where you had Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov reiterating that Russia hoped that any plan would include the basic things that Trump and Putin agreed to in Alaska, all of which were reportedly reflected in the extremely pro-Russian 28-point plan. And so if that means that this new deal doesn't come with a major capitulations from Ukraine, you have people wondering, will Russia actually move forward? With that, we may get an update tomorrow because American and Russian negotiators are talking to each other right now in Abu Dhabi. Then, as we wind things things down today. I want to end with a congratulations and one more thing. Starting with a congratulations. Congrats to Karen E., SeatGeek's latest weekly winner, who just snagged $500 in tickets to see Demi Lovato at MSG. And for the rest of y'all, that's right. SeatGeek is still giving away $500 in tickets, and you should definitely enter today if you haven't already. I mean, imagine being the next winner and snagging $500 towards seeing your favorite artist, sporting event, or play. I mean, there's like over 70,000 events to choose from. And all you gotta do is just add code DeFranco to your SeatGeek app profile for a chance of the weekly $500 prize, no purchase necessary. Then, as far as the final thing is, today I actually shot a full podcast in good faith with YouTuber Mr. Beat. You loved him so much the first time, I had to bring him back on. Well, I highly recommend you watch the full thing. It's about an hour. I got a link in the description, and I got a thing for you at the end. One of the things that we talked about and I really wanted to share was, in the conversation of presidential scandals and conspiracy theories, I want to talk about how even founding fathers were conspiracy theorists.
How true is it that Sam Adams was like spreading conspiracy theories and disinformation intentionally?
It wasn't just him. Paul Revere did as well. Yeah, Ben Franklin is the king of misinformation. He was spreading fake news all the time. Yeah, like that's what I always tell people. The era we're living in now that's not new. Like I think the difference now is more and more people are just believing it. Whereas I think, we got to think critically about the information we consume. But yeah, they were very persuasive with their. I mean, most of the time they just exaggerated. Like Boston Massacre is a great example of that. How you probably have in your head the famous image of it. It was Paul Revere was a big reason why that image spread across the colonies, because he owned a printing press, and Ben Franklin as well. Like he was just somebody who was able to communicate well, and then often exaggerated.
Yeah, it kind of makes me think of like, does that mean like if times were different, like they'd have Twitter accounts that are like George is a clown, or like at George is a clown, and it's like defeat the monarchy, and then it makes it makes me wonder about the future from here. Are we gonna have history books that are like, it all started because this account was started on Twitter that spread misinformation, and it was the spark that was needed to do some new crazy thing.
And that, my friends, is where this video is going to end. But again, there's much more just a click away. You can watch that full podcast with Mr. Beat. It's a great watch and listen. And or if you
I thought I was going to take a break. Well, technically I kind of did. I thought I was going to take a break, but I just, for some reason, like I can't sleep at night. Knowing like, bro, it's so hard because I even got this Aura ring, right? And I've been tracking my sleep and my health. I'm doing good, but I'm just not getting as many hours as I want. So right now I'm averaging right around like 4 hours to 5 hours of sleep. Some days probably like 2 to 3 hours. Really, it's like right around 3.5 to 4 hours of sleep average. But I just can't sleep, bro. Like this whole trading thing has definitely like corrupted not even corrupted, I would say has taken over my mind. It's like trading is like a way of living, like it's just like my life at this point. And then ever since I did like this social media thing too as well, it just came down to the point where it was like, damn, like I just really gotta keep, like I'm obsessed with it now, almost. Not obsessed with social media, but I'm obsessed with like the impact. I think that's what it is, like the impact. Yeah, that's the right word for it. Like just doing all the pop-up tours that we was doing, or like the pop-up events that we would do. We did one in Cape Town, we did one in Amsterdam, one in London, one in ATO, one in LA. And it's just like, we gotta keep doing more. I'm just like, bro, I gotta keep doing more. And yeah, I'm just obsessed with it. I can't stop. I can't sleep at night just thinking about it. So yeah, I picked back up the camera and we're gonna get back to this, bro. We're gonna get back to pushing out as much as possible and providing as much value to the world for free. And yeah, let's get into it. So today, I'm currently in a gold buy. I posted it on my story and stuff, so you probably, if you're watching this video, you probably have already seen it. Currently in a gold buy. The markets is closed. It's currently like 5:06 for me, so the market's just closed like almost like a couple minutes ago. And yeah, like once again, I'm gonna break it down for you, but I constantly think about trading and ways that I can improve of like helping other people understand. But today I was having a talk, and I'll play a clip. Matter of fact, here, just watch the clip. Like, oh, bro, I'm using all my money, or I'm risking my money, and I'm scared. There's no reason to be scared if you already know what setups you're gonna take.
Because it's literally the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Like,
I think trading itself, the only reason people struggle is because you're actually using hard work money though. Yeah. But I feel like that's a plus though. I feel like when I do that, it makes me be more aware of what I'm doing, if that makes sense. Like if I know whatever I'm doing could possibly lose my hard working money, it'll be more of like, oh shit, let me not get into this trade because I don't think it's gonna be a best probability. So then at that point, you'll switch your mindset to like the probability of it. All right, I see this setup. What are the chances of this actually playing out? And how you deal with that is like, probability is more of like, all right, is there more higher highs in the market in this uptrend? And if you're seeing an uptrend, you need to see more higher highs, more higher lows. These things give you more probability because these are kind of like your backups, like your context, or not context clues, like your evidence, basically. Basically, what you're trying to do is look at price and catch it basically slipping, because it'll give you the details. It'll give you all the evidence you need. You put all the evidence together, like, okay, price didn't want to go this low. It made a higher low here and started pushing up from that level. That's bullish. Okay, price is breaking above a high. That's bullish. Put these together and then you finally make your conclusion. You're like, okay, I'm ready to get in this trade because of this fact, this fact, this fact. Right. So essentially, like, all you're trying to do is really understand what price is doing, take the facts, and then putting your money on the line to those facts, basically. And then if you're wrong, you're wrong. But if you're right, you're right. Yeah. And I just think of it like that. I don't think of it like, okay, I'm risking this much or I'm risking that much. Think of it as like, even when I first started, I wasn't thinking like that. Yeah. I was like, well, in the beginning I was definitely like, dang, I need to make money. But then like, I lost like $900 that I saved up for 3 weeks. And then from there, like my whole mind shift like changed because I lost that 900 in like 5 minutes. Wow. Like I just watched it gone. And it just dropped? I got into a trade because I felt like it was gonna go up. Yeah. I didn't really have any of those context clues or things, so I was just going based off of how I felt. And that's like a lot of people do that. A lot of people get into trading and some people will be like, oh, I don't have these emotions, or I don't like, you know, money's okay, or whatever the case might be. Some people come in and they be like, I'm okay with losing because I know I'm gonna make it, and then they just do whatever because they feel like they're gonna make it soon. But you really just come into the game and like, all right, I need to learn how to know when price is gonna go from here to here. Right. If people came into the game like that and just only solely thought about that, you would come out on top. Like it'd probably take a couple months, but you would definitely come out on top with that mindset. If people like remove like, I want to make some money, and they change it to, I need to learn how to know when price is going to do this or that, bro, you'll be above most beginners. Because of course, like I tell people all the time, like, think about it this way. You want to come in, everybody wants to make money trading. That's already a fact that we know, right? But if you shift your mindset from that, the normal human being would think that, I just want to come in and make some money. And then you switch it to, I want to come in the game and understand what I'm doing in the markets. Bro, you'll start doing different, like, I don't know how to put it. Like, you'll start doing different things other than trying to chase the money. Because a lot of people get into trades like, I just want to make the money off this trade. But then if you get into the markets, you're like, I think I see price, or I'm seeing price give me these clues. Let's see if it goes in the direction that I'm thinking, or that I, have a thesis behind. And then you go with that, and you're okay with the outcome at that point. Right. Because you're not in it, like you're in it to make money, but that's not on your mind. You're more of like seeing if it's gonna play out.
You're thinking deeper.
Yeah.
Not just, make this quick buck. Like,
yeah, so then when you do that, you then are like okay with the outcome of the trade. Yeah. So if it's a win or loss, because then if you're a person that's more focused on getting better at the actual craft, what are you gonna do? Like boxing, right? If you're not good at a jab, what are you gonna do? You're gonna keep analyzing your job. You're gonna probably record yourself, document, or whatever the case might be. See what you're doing, messing up at, seeing what you can perfect or what you can do better, and then come back the next time.
Yeah.
But if you think about it from a money aspect, you're like, dang, I lost money. And then you're like, do I really want to keep losing money? Do I want to risk more? And then it just,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
And it's funny because I think I feel like I'm in that space now. And the cool part about what you're saying is that every time I'm looking into going to trade, like, I'll be like, okay, I'll look at the demo, or even like my real account, I'll be like, all right, I see that, like, I'll show you. Every time I look at it, I have a better, like, I can't just off the dome, like, oh yeah, this and that. But for example, even when gold did this, right?
Yeah.
Literally, I looked at this, like I was looking at it before, and then I was like, okay, I saw this, and I was like, indication, or ICC showed that, and then it broke. Like, it didn't break structure, if I'm using that correctly, like from here.
Yeah.
So I saw that, and then I was like, oh. And before this all happened, like literally, I think yesterday, I was like, I have a feeling it's gonna spike up because price wasn't pushing down, and it was like even from here, it tried, but it kept going up, and then it didn't break that level of support. So I don't know if am I looking at that incorrectly?
No, that's right.
And then I was like, oh, like I literally was like, it's probably gonna go up. But then I was like losing it. I was like, nah, I'm gonna pull out. And like I was trying to do.
You just gotta trust the process.
Shit, and then I lost it. Like I had like 100, and then I was like, fuck. And if I would have just stayed in it.
Yeah.
Like, and so it's just stuff like that.
It just
like,
comes with the game,
like,
dude.
I follow, like, I don't, like, in my head, I'm like, no, like this, like, I'll always will find it in the setups, like, even in the demo. Even when I got to 90K, I was like, oh, shoot, that's crazy, because I'm, like, not just guessing it, like, I'm actually knowing when to put in, like, the SL, or, like, in stop loss, or not stop, or stop loss and TP. Like, I was knowing when to do both. And I was like, oh, shit, I'm, like, actually seeing when it's on the downtrend, I put a stop loss and it will go all the way down, or I'm seeing on the uptrend. But then I don't know what it is, like, there's just some other mental stuff, like what you were just saying about, do I risk more money, or do I, I lost $20, but it's like, then it's also harder with the margins, because when you're 9K, like, yeah, it could be negative 1,000 one minute and then like +2 the next.
Yeah.
So it's just, and then when I see this, I'm pissed because I'm like, I could have been. I'm like, damn.
It literally comes with the game. There's been so many trades where I've missed in the past where it was just like,
bro, like, and then it's like, I know I can't
mine's are definitely worse than today.
You said what?
I said mine's are definitely worse than what you're seeing right now, man.
Bro.
I've seen some shit like.
Oh, from other people?
No, I'm talking about myself. Like I've missed some trades where it was like, bro, I would have
like you could have made like 20 mil. Or...
Bro, something crazy. I just be looking at the chart so hurt, but even then, like now I always tell myself like, I don't stress about the charts. I don't stress about the charts, and it's not because I make a lot of money. It's just like, you got over 225 days, or I think it's like 252 business days in a year. One day is not gonna kill you.
That's so true. Yeah.
Like just because you miss one day, like I always like to think in probabilities, because like trading is really 50-50 to be honest, because you can only buy or you can only sell. So when you think of it from this aspect, take those 250 days. You gotta have at least something around 50%. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, one of those days it's either gonna buy or it's gonna sell. 250 days of those. It's one day, Monday it might buy or it might sell. Tuesday it might buy. Wednesday it might sell. You just gotta find out which day that day is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's why I always stress to people, like, if you think like that, if you think like, all right, Monday, is it a buy or is it a sell? Tuesday, is it a buy or a sell? And like over time you want to think like that, but then you're going to be like, all right, is this week going to be a buy or a sell?
Right.
Or is this next week going to be a buy or a sell? Is this next month going to be a buy or a sell? And when you think like that, you start making more money. Because then, like, in the beginning, you want to keep daily thinking of it. Is it going to buy or sell today? But you want to build a habit of like, all right, what is it going to fully do this week? So right now, this buy that we're seeing.
Look, other than the demo, I put it in. I saw it.
See how you set and forget it. You was like.
It's like, damn it.
You was like, all right, let me just like place this trade, and then you forgot about it. But you need to do the same thing on your live though.
Yeah.
It's just numbers at the end of the day.
I feel like I've done that before with the live, and bro, I shit you.
it trading is more of like a you versus you thing. Like I can teach you like the markups and everything is cool, but if you stop thinking in a mindset of like day-to-day trading and more of like, all right, where's the market going for this week? Where is it going for the next couple of weeks, next month or so? If you start thinking of it from that aspect, you start to kind of like see that or like, I don't know how to explain it fully. I'm trying to give like it's in my head, but I don't know how to put it out to you guys. But trends are easy to read. Now, I'm not saying everybody can do it, but I can definitely say if you give somebody a step-by-step guideline on what to look for, what not to look for, anybody can get the trend part. It's just actually accepting the fact that it can be this easy. And I think this standard nowadays is like, oh, trading's hard. Trading's going to take 5-10 years to do before you actually learn it. But I always tell people all the time, like in a job, you come into a job and not knowing how to do anything, and you start to learn it. You have a step-by-step rules, like the boss tells you, hey, do it this way, this way, this way. In the beginning, you're going to be trash for the first 2 weeks at that job. But then like a month in, you're going to kind of get a hang of it. So I always think that trading is the same way. It's just you fighting against yourself because you're putting your actual capital to it. Once again, trends are trends. That's something like, if you look at the actual, like think of it, if you look at the actual market for what it is, it's just uptrends, downtrends, consolidation points. So 3 things can happen in the market. It's either consolidating, it's either trending up, or is it trending down? Your goal is to separate yourself from thinking, I need to be in a trade every day, and start thinking more of like, okay, I'm looking to place a trade, but where's the trend going right now so I can capitalize off of much as possible? And it's not even a greed mindset. This doesn't make you a greedy person. It just opens your eyes to like knowing that trying to find my words for it, knowing that there is a better version of this trading stuff instead of like this fast money, buy this, buy that, make a couple thousands, make a couple hundred, and then go do whatever you want for the day. Bro, start positioning yourself as like, I always recommend people to swing trade because you're going to make the most money from swing trading. I promise you, I can make more money than somebody that trades 4 times a week and I only trade once or twice a week, right? But that's not even like an ego thing. It's just real because a swing trader is capitalizing off of a whole trend, something that happens. If you go look at any chart, go look at the daily time frame, go look at the 4-hour time frame. There's moments in the market, there's months in the market where price goes in one direction or one direction down. There's sometimes where it consolidates. Think about things from the bigger picture of it. Don't think of like the small, like, let me just grab a little and then get out. Because I know that's how some people think, especially in trading. Like people are like, oh, it's too risky, so I'm gonna just try to grab a little bit and get out. It's kind of like the rioters in LA or something, right? Like they'll be like, oh, I don't want to get in trouble, but I'm gonna take a little bit of it so that way I don't get in a lot of trouble. But you're still risking. It's still a risk. Regardless if you get in or get out fast or slow, you're still taking the risk. So if you know getting in and getting out fast is gonna make a little bit of money, but you're gonna have to keep doing that, and that's a risk. What's the difference between swing trading and getting into a position and capitalizing off of that whole position? Either way it goes, you're still taking some type of risk. So you might as well go with the one that's going to make you more money long term. You become a better trader because I feel like, you know, in the beginning, you want to get your reps in, of course. Try to find positions and trades that you can get into and get your reps in. This doesn't mean overtrade, but definitely, you know, you want to be looking at the charts more. And this doesn't mean sit at your charts for 12 hours a day, 13 hours a day. Just because you're staring at a chart doesn't make you a better trader. The only thing that's going to make you a better trader is, you know, actually being in a trade and analyzing that trade, and if it goes to point A or point B, or if it goes to point A to stop loss. That's how you become a better trader, because then you analyze these things and you're saying, okay, I got to change this, I got to change that. And when I change this, you start perfecting it. You start getting better because you know, okay, let me not do it this way because I know that's going to fail. A lot of people too as well, they get in this it's like an ego. It's an ego habit almost. It's almost an ego habit where you know something is wrong, but instead you try to take your shot every single time saying, this might work this time, it might work this time, or it might work this time. So you constantly keep blowing your account, trading high impact news with no knowledge of what's going on. You're full margining your accounts, and you're just like hoping that one time that's going to be it. But the thing is, you don't want to do this because when you start thinking in a mindset of like, all right, if it hits this one time, I'm good. Then think about it, right? Prime example. Let's say you over leverage on news. It hits. You make, let's say, a couple thousand. Let's say you make $5,000. You made $5,000 off basically a gamble, something that wasn't really a skill to do. You just kind of was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna get all in and I'm okay with whatever happens. Which, once again, the mindset of saying, okay, I don't care what happens is also good to have. But when you tie it in with trying to build a skill, it works in your favor because you're like, okay, I'm okay with the outcome of things. If I'm right, I analyze it, see how I was right, and use it for the next trade. Or if I lose, I'm okay with that. I'll see what I did wrong and use the right stuff for the next trade. So with this being said, don't get into the markets, fully gamble and just be like, okay, I don't care. That's why I don't like prop firms, to be honest, because nowadays they're like $50 and people are like, oh, I'll just buy another account. And then they constantly keep doing this cycle thinking it's going to be different. I knew this one person, they text me on, what did they text me? I think it was like Snapchat. Text me on Snapchat. This woman sends me like 10 screenshots, and it was like 20 different funded accounts on each one. So almost over like, what is the math on that? 10 times 20, bro, she sent me over like 200 accounts that she has blown, and she just kept buying new ones and buying new ones and buying new ones because they constantly, like beginner traders or even intermediate traders, they think something's going to change this time, but they don't change what's wrong. They just think this time is going to be different, which is never the case. The more you change the actual skill and what you're doing, you'll start to see different outcomes. So whatever you input into your trading is going to give you an output. So think of it that way, not, okay, if I risk this amount of money and hit this one time, I'm good. Yeah, you're putting in something, but the outcome of that is going to be not in your favor, or it's not going to be how you want it. You have no control of it, basically, is what I'm trying to tell you. You want to be able to have control over everything you do, right? Whenever you're trading, get into the markets, say, hey, I see prices coming here. I think price is going to go here. I'm going to put my stop loss here. You have control. Now you have control. You're in a position, you have control. Wait for TP to hit or wait for stop loss to hit. You have full control over what's going on. You understand where the market is at. You're like, okay, if this happens, I'll get out. If this happens, I'll get out and profit, whatever the case might be. You have full control. But somebody that is a gambler, they get into the markets and they place that trade and they don't know what's going on. So they have no control over their self, like their own brains almost, because they're just like, okay, if it goes in profit, I think I should take out. I think I shouldn't take out. Should I like close now? It's always that, like, if you're asking yourself, if you're watching this and you're asking yourself, should I close or should I get out? Or like, should I take the loss or take the W? Should I take partials? If you're asking yourself that, you haven't fully thought out what your process is going to be or what your trading plan, what they would say a trading plan is going to be. You need to fully think everything out. So that way in the markets, you have control over yourself. You're more calm because you're almost knowing that this is going to happen the way it's going to happen. If it's a loss, okay, you still are comfortable with that because all right, if price hits my stop loss, I know that this trade is a reversal. You always put your stop loss in areas where if price does hit your stop loss, This is telling you this trend is invalid, not the trade, the trend. Because remember, if you're trading higher time frames, you're trading with the trend, right? So if price hits your stop loss, that means you are not on the right side of the trend. Price is most likely on a downtrend if you're in a buy. And then if price breaks a high and you're in a sell, that means price is on an uptrend. So these things here, I'm not gonna lie, these things here will help you. Please, 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 just enter trading. Come in with the mindset of like, all right, I know trading is gonna bring me money, but the only way it's gonna bring me money is if I actually get good at the skill. Stop thinking of trading as a money grab. Stop thinking, oh, if I just put this $100 in, I'm gonna try to turn it to 500. No, say, I personally don't like small accounts, but it is what it is. Let's say you put in 500. Once you put that 500 in, you're like, okay, I have 500 in my trading account. Let's go find some setups. Let's see if there's some good setups that I can place a trade on. And keep it just like that. Keep it just like that. I need to go find setups. That's your goal. I need to find setups that are solid, price action, market structure, and utilize it on the trend or whatever trend that it wants to go on. Utilize it. Utilize the actual charts and what the charts is telling you and go with it. Once again, I tell people all the time, trading is just like communication with the markets. You're really communicating with the markets. The markets is going to tell you, hey, I want to do this, 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 and this. Your response needs to be, okay, I can see that you want to do this, this, and this. I'll go with you, or I'll do what you need me to do. And everybody's happy. The market is happy. You're happy because you're making money. The market is going in a direction that it wants to go. Everybody's happy. There's going to be some days where there are some miscommunications, right? I tell people all the time, if you miscommunicate with a trade or miscommunicate with the market, you're not going to get upset about that. You shouldn't get upset about it. You should be able to handle your loss, handle your day of miscommunication with the market as just a day of miscommunication. If you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, right? And and one day you just miscommunicate with them, you're not just going to break up over some miscommunication. We're all
Hey, what's up, good people? How you doing? Welcome back to here 190. So now for the people that even bought it at 40 cents, okay? So now contacted me. We met at the Bitcoin conference. I met with him, the CEO of Mara, Riot, all of those guys. We've had them on the show. I even met with Grant Cardone, met with all of those guys, right? But then I want you to see, before we do this interview, that the current price is down 1.40%. If you look over the last 5 days, it's down almost 10%. And if you look over the month, it's down 46%. But remember, why is it down over the last month? Because BTC, Bitcoin, is down. And that's why it's down in lockstep with Bitcoin. Of course, it went down further, okay? Year to date, it's actually up. And I want to also show you, and I'm going to talk about it in the interview, is that analysts have a 12-month range on it at 888 approximately. You see here, forecast from $7 to a high of $11. If that comes true, we need to look at Hive and see when should we start buying at $3.17. Okay, so I wanted to leave the XRP portion there, and right now we're going to go into this interview with the CEO of Hive. He's the CEO of Hive Digital, Mr. Aiden Kellick. Please introduce yourself.
Hey, Larry, it's great to be back. We met at the Bitcoin Vegas conference in May.
XRP and have a vehicle that you could borrow against. Why? Because now remember, this ETF just started, so you don't really have anything to track it off of at the low and hold it for a cycle. Okay, so let's look at where XRP is right now. And I'm going to get to something. XRP right now is 217 at the time of filming this, right? And it's here. This is what I'm looking at. This is what I like to buy. I like to buy, let's go here. I like to buy fear. Now, we are in extreme fear. Yesterday we were down here, but since crypto has come up, then we're less fearful and we're buying more now, right? But last week we're at extreme fear 15. Yesterday we were extreme fear 12, right? So the lower it goes, the price, the more fear comes in. To me, is when you should be buying. Anything I say is not a suggestion for you to buy, hold, or sell. Okay? And so what I want you to do right now that all of the FUD is gone, now you could really look into the realistic use case of XRP, to which I do have some XRP. Now, let's go into this because I want to show you something. All right, now, today in Money Moves, I bought some shares. I bought just one or two shares to keep my eye on it of Bitwise, which is the XRP ETF. And before you say, hey, you don't own it, I have a ton of XRP, right, in a crypto portfolio. Now I'm adding to this, and I'm going to explain that in a minute like I did on yesterday. So now you got XRP here. Now remember, this ETF just started, so you don't really have anything to track it off of. Now, why are you bringing up the ETF? Because this is one of the things I want to show you. I want to show you that wealthy people take out loans against their equities. I know we talked about that, and someone says, yes, but explain about getting margin called. Well, wealthy people don't just go to their brokers to get loans, they go to their banks to get loans, okay? And this is what I want to show you. I put in, can you take a loan out against your crypto in Coinbase from a bank? No, you cannot directly. Why? Because the banks don't see it as a legal institution as far as, the Fidelity, the Schwabs, the financial institutions because of lack of regulation. But if you buy it through an ETF, the answer turns into yes. You could literally take out a SBLOC loan. Okay? You can see that, right? A secured base line of credit. All right? A securities based line of credit. And this is what you do. All right? You can go through here. It shows you the ETFs and all of that. And you say, well, y'all like to own my XRP. And I'm saying, why not do them both? Why not own your XRP and have a vehicle that you could borrow against? Why? Because that's what wealthy people do. And they keep their equity. So I haven't sold any of my XRP in my crypto portfolio, and I'm going to add more in crypto winter. And now I'm adding some XRP even today in my ETF and IBIT and some Bitcoin. But let's talk about XRP because that is what this is all about. So what I'm going to say to you now is, now that all of the FUD is over, now there's a clearer path to make some serious money with XRP. It's your purchase price. Your purchase price, your purchase price. It's not the hype price. It's not the pie in the sky price. It's your purchase price. And I'm going to tell you, even if you started accumulating now in both the ETFs and especially under $2, all right? At this point, I would wait for it to fall back under $2. But if you wanted to DCA now, that's fine because it's not 360. Okay, it's $2 ish. Now I would consider dollar cost averaging. The thing about the ETFs is if you got it in Fidelity, Schwab, or TD Ameritrade, you can set it and forget it and just continue to buy. The same thing like Coinbase and those other crypto platforms where you just put your money in there and tell it when to buy. Now, that's what I'm going to be doing with XRP. And from now until 2030, even though I got big bags in XRP, I'm going to buy way more than I have on the downturn rather than when it was overhyped. Okay, so now that the FUD is over and reality is here, we could make money with XRP. Please, please let the people know that I am and always have been pro XRP, but at the right price without all of the FUD. Now, I have a Bitcoin mining CEO that I'm going to play an interview I did yesterday in its entirety, and it's the CEO of Hive Digital. Now, Hive Digital is a Bitcoin mining company, and they contacted me. We met at the Bitcoin conference. I met with him, the CEO of Mara, Riot, all of those guys. We've had them on the show. I even met with Grant Cardone, met with all of those guys, right? But then I want you to see, before we do this interview, that the current price is down 1.40%. If you look over the last 5 days, it's down almost 10%. And if you look over the month, it's down 46%. But remember, why is it down over the last month? Because BTC, Bitcoin, is down. And that's why it's down in lockstep with Bitcoin. Of course, it went down further, okay? Year to date, it's actually up. And I want to also show you, and I'm going to talk about it in the interview, is that analysts have a 12-month range on it at 888 approximately. You see here, forecast from $7 to a high of $11. If that comes true, we need to look at Hive and see when should we start buying at $3.17. Okay, so I wanted to leave the XRP portion there, and right now we're going to go into this interview with the CEO of Hive. He's the CEO of Hive Digital, Mr. Aydin Kilic. Please introduce yourself.
Hey, Larry, it's great to be back. We met at the Bitcoin Vegas conference in May 2025. It's now November, just before Thanksgiving. I'm Aydin Kilic, President and CEO, Hive Digital Technologies, listed on NASDAQ, the first publicly traded Bitcoin miner ever, going public on the TSXV in Canada in 2017. So we've been through 2 Bitcoin halvings, an Ethereum merge, and we've even built our own ASIC miner with Intel. So we've done it all, and we've pivoted into HPC and AI as well. So a lot of fun stuff to talk about today.
Yes. So yeah, you just went over that. First publicly traded Bitcoin mining, 2017, longest tenure CEO, CFO, and chairman in the industry. Okay, just posted the strongest quarter in company's history. So you're knocking the ball out of the park.
Thank you, sir. It's been a transformative year for Hive. We just completed 300 megawatts in about 6 months in Paraguay, which I think is a record in the industry. We brought online almost an exahash a week consistently. We grew from 6 exahash to 25 exahash. Really what that means is we had our annual revenue from the Bitcoin mining business at the beginning of this year was about 100 million. And we just hit 400 million ARR. We quadrupled our revenue this year with this transformative expansion into Paraguay. And as part of that, we cracked $1 billion market cap, Canadian and US. So yeah, it's been a heck of a year.
You know, I did see that, and sometimes we look for smaller companies. For a billion-dollar company to most is a lot, but in the stock market, as it pertains to the price of the equity, that's a small, relatively small company. But on this page, we've made a lot of money on small caps because they really run when they do well. And as I look at the stock itself, I could see that it is a moderate buy to a strong buy, and analysts have you, and I know you probably can't talk about the stocks. I'm going to talk about the stocks for a second, then we're going to ask you some more questions. They have a average price target of $8.13 to $9. The highest price is from from $10 to $11. And even after a great pump on yesterday, right now at the time of filming this, you're at like 321. Okay. And so, wow, that's a lot of room for growth. What do you have to add to that?
Yeah, that's all absolutely correct. We are covered by about 7 research analysts at institutions throughout the U.S., KBW, Canaccord, Cantor, Fitzgerald, Roth, to name a few. And you've got the price targets absolutely correct. And I will point out that in October, our stock actually hit $7 US. And so the whole market has pulled back in the last 6 weeks, but a couple of catalysts, Bitcoin prices retraced, but I think we saw it consolidate. And now we're at 89,000 Bitcoin as of the time of this interview, and it had fallen as low as 81. So I think that was just the Bitcoin price pulling back. It's finding its footing and consolidating. And I think a lot of the industry experts are hoping that we're going to see the final leg of the bull run, hopefully a golden bull run where we see Bitcoin at 150,000 plus. And that would, to me, signal the real bull run of this 4-year cycle. And moreover, the interesting thing is that we have more cash flow today than we did in October. I mean, we completed our final phase in Paraguay and got to 25 exahash, a couple weeks ago. So our cash flow has actually been growing. Of course, when Bitcoin price corrects, there's a bit of margin compression, but as that Bitcoin price continues to rise, and we've got some really exciting news in the HPC world. We just announced the first order of our NVIDIA Blackwell B200s, their partnership with Bell, Canada's largest telecom company. And we've got a run rate target of revenue for the end of next year for over $200 million on the AI business and HPC business alone, in addition to the Bitcoin mining business. We're at 400 million ARR today. So a lot of exciting catalysts. And this is the sort of stuff that those analysts that are very well versed in these sectors, that's what they're basing their price targets on. So we've seen a great performance in our stock this year. And today alone, our stock is up 10% as of market close. So, I think it's, end of October, early November, a bit of a overall market correction. But now we're hoping that with a government coming back, shifting into a period of quantitative easing as well, just fiscally, I'm hoping that equities will have a strong finish this year.
More quantitative easing and hopefully a December rate cut will fare well for all Bitcoin and all Bitcoin miners and all Bitcoin related stock. I'm just going to shift right here. We're going to talk about AI and what you guys are doing in that industry or in that area and data centers. We're going to cover that. But let's just get right to the meat. What my followers want to know. Okay. And I know you cannot call a price, but one of the things I like about you is you're not scared of these questions. So me and Aiden, we really kicked it at the Bitcoin conference, and we chopped it up after the cameras were off. Bitcoin being held back this year, the liquidations, massive liquidations, and whales and OGs being fearful and taking money out of the market, but there's a ton on the sideline. I believe that Tom Lee is right. Ton of cash on the sidelines that's waiting to get back into crypto. Do you think that the top, at first we were all looking at the top to be, around now, the end of the year. Do you think that the top of Bitcoin is already in, or do you think that the top could, and that's the word could, come in Q1 of maybe 2026? And before you answer that, I'm going to say anything that Iden and myself say is not a suggestion for you to buy, hold, or sell. We're just two guys on YouTube having a discussion. So what do you think, Iden?
Correct. We're two guys on YouTube having a discussion, and you've got a great platform. I think that I can answer that question by providing you feedback in both directions. So talking to a lot of really smart people that are traders and trade derivatives and really pay attention to all that technical analysis. The previous floor was thought to be 92,000, and this was sort of when Bitcoin was over 100, and it was thought that it would consolidate around 92 and maybe sit there for a while. But then when certain technical levels were, and I'm not a trader, by the way, I'm a CEO of a mining company. I'm really good at Bitcoin mining and being a CEO of a public company. But the feedback I was given was that floor for consolidation then broke into the $78,000 to $83,000 range. And what they were saying was if it fell below that, a crypto winter would set in. So what's great and what we've seen in the last week is that it defended that floor, it consolidated, and now Bitcoin's at 88, 89. So I think that was more of a correction. So it can consolidate. You have a lot of big institutions, the MicroStrategies of the world, all these digital asset treasury companies that came in and raised money to buy crypto. So there's a lot of people that I think are long-term invested that are hoping to see, a rally. And again, you have conversations with whether it's, wealth advisors at Morgan Stanley or big ETF funds, et cetera, when I go to New York. And I think just conversationally, a lot of people were calling that the true signal of the bull market would be 150 to 200,000. I think maybe in and around the $150,000 range would signal, okay, like you've really seen the bull run. You can never really say when that would be. Is it in Q1? I don't know, but I think that the two catalysts that you've already identified, we've seen pretty strong causality where if there were two significant rate cuts like in December and January, I think that would be a pretty strong signal that you see risk on assets, like not just Bitcoin, but even gold. We saw gold rally to all-time highs over $4,000. And so I think risk on assets definitely perform well when there's more liquidity in the system. So we'll see, the rate cut is a little over a couple of weeks away. Obviously, the government shutdown didn't help. And so there was other macroeconomic factors. A lot of tech stocks pulled back in the last couple of weeks. There was, an interview with CoreWeave and Jim Cramer that I thought the CEO of CoreWeave did a phenomenal job. But Jim Cramer was just, attacking with all these negative questions, and their stock dropped, and it was a lot of just FUD after that. But now AWS has come out and said they want to invest $50 billion in AI. So now the markets are bullish again. So, it's like the weather, man. You got sunny days and rainy days. And so I think that fundamentally we're seeing a lot of demand. I heard Lambda just raised over $1 billion. So you've got a lot of demand at the actual, at the ground level where the big model builders, the data center builders, that demand is still brimming and it's still hot as ever. So that's good. Fundamentally, the actual builders and consumers of HPC data centers and AI compute with GPU clusters, that's all still there. The market's just sort of gone through this little bit of a correction. So I'm really hoping that we see continued momentum in the markets. But again, that will really be driven by what do rate.
Hey, hope you're having an absolutely wonderful Tuesday, November the 25th, and I'm pleased to announce the bulls are back in town. If you've been paying attention to the equities market over the past couple of days, we've been having a beautiful recovery, and in this video, I want to be breaking down why the market is recovering, what my upside targets would be, and most importantly, what might happen that stops this upward trajectory, as in the major things you should be paying attention to in case price starts to go the other way. But very quickly before we get to that, if you enjoy these type of market breakdowns, let me know by hitting that like button, and also don't forget to subscribe. And if I could, I'm going to ask you a little something extra. If there's a particular ticker or crypto or future that you want me to do a specific breakdown on, let me know in a comment below. If I see enough people commenting on the same one, if there's like a lot of particular audience interest in one specific name, more than happy to make some standalone videos. And with that being said, let's rock. When the market officially closed today, Tuesday, things were pretty green. Dow closed it up more than 650 points, posting a 3-day winning streak as hopes for a December rate cut start to grow. The S&P 500, 3 green days in a row, were recovering the EMA cloud, gaining a nice 0.9%. And if you look at the NASDAQ, pretty similar situation, 3 green days in a row, almost recovering this EMA cloud and posting a pretty nice gain of 0.6%. Unfortunately, crypto not really getting the memo. Bitcoin still looking a little bit weak, but hey, we could always enjoy equities because, as I alluded to, it was very, very green. On the screen right now is the heat map of the S&P 500, and you kind of have to squint and really look to see some of the red names. Obviously, Nvidia, AMD, and Netflix are a little bit evident, but most of the board pretty freaking green, and that's what you're going to see here on the intraday action as well. We were pretty weak around 9:45 going into the change of the hour, that 30-minute orbo at 10 a.m., and then ever since then, it was just kind of a runaway train. It was actually pretty nice if you got onto that trend early because there wasn't many opportunities for it looking back. So the first question is, what in the world happened? Well, coming in today, we had some news related to Google, Nvidia, and Meta looking very good for Google, causing it to hit a new all-time high. So that was the news that we were all considering going into the early market open announcements, where we got retail sales and PPI both coming in basically at expectations. At 10 a.m., we had consumer confidence that was low. In fact, this is the lowest consumer confidence that we've seen since last April, and that's why early in the session there was a little bit of wonkiness right around 10, and then the market very quickly realized it didn't care much. Looking at the options flow, you can basically see where it switched. We kind of popped a little questionable, and then we kind of ripped. Same thing in the Mag 7, kind of questionable, and then it found its footing around 11:15, and then we were off to the races for the remainder of the day. So we started off with some exciting news related to Alphabet, aka Google. Then we got some short-term questionable news related to consumer confidence, and then right after that, as you can see, kind of 11 when things really started to get going, it all related to monetary policy. Fed Chairs Powell, allies provide opening for December rate cut, a divided committee, missing data, and a whiff of stagflation leave Powell to choose between two paths, each with drawbacks. Yeah, that's the nice way for the Wall Street Journal to put it, but in reality, come early December, we are pretty much getting a 25 bips rate cut, and if you rewind to as recently as November 21st, that wasn't likely. So this is the big shift in the market that over the weekend and for the first couple trading days of this week, we're starting to really pump, because as of now, there's an 85% chance of a 25 bips rate cut. Pretty much a similar situation in poly market. I like to check the two. And then from there, this particular realm of thought of what's going on with monetary policy and all that got a bit better. Basent says there's a very good chance Trump names new Fed chair before Christmas, and then we found out more about that today. Hassett emerges as a frontrunner in Trump Fed chair audition. This is big news. This is bullish news because Hassett is already a part of the administration, so the market is most likely interpreting this to be, oh wow, they're going to do exactly what Trump wants to do. Trump wants rates lowered, so right there. This idea of the market is a forward-looking mechanism, the fact that monetary policy, the Fed fund rate, is going to go lower, well, obviously, as you can see in the market's reaction, it is very much liking it. SPX exploding and the NDX also exploding. So in a nutshell, that's pretty much the narrative as things currently stand. But the most important question is, what should we be looking forward next? Well, I do want you to know before we get to Turkey Day, Wednesday, November the 26th, before the market opens, we're getting durable goods, GDP, we're getting the next inflation report a little bit into the trading sessions, and also new home sales. And then once again, the market is closed on Thursday and it's a half day on Friday. So first of all, pay attention to those macroeconomic events, going to be very important. I suppose you should also pay attention to any news related to monetary policy, but that might already be priced in. Things are looking pretty good. I would say pay attention to what's going on, not only with price, but obviously you have this upside gap fill. So if the market can push above and hold above 6,770 on SPX, obviously you're going to have that psychological level at 6,800. But I do want to remind you, there is still a technical upside gap fill to 6,830 on SPX. Now on the bear case, just in case we get a triple top here, look for the sweep back back below this cloud, taking out the low from today and the low from Monday, that would obviously be a little bit of a bearish development. And I would say pretty much a similar situation on NDX. You want it to get above and hold above 25,200. From there, you have a little bit of a void around 25,450, 500, and there is, yes, still an upside gap fill. So if you are bullish and we are holding this cloud, those are some nice targets for you to have. But like the SPX, if this is just a fake out breakout and we start to sweep today's low or Monday's low, well, obviously that could be problematic. So here's the major TLDR that you need to know. Even though some of the macroeconomic data was good, some was bad, the market is quickly forgetting the bad pieces of data, and they're looking at the fact that monetary policy is going in the way of getting another rate cut. Right now, the market absolutely loves that, so that's adding a little bit of fuel to this recovery. From a technical perspective, we're right about to recapture some of those major exponential moving averages, and if we could do that, that is great. So I would say be cautiously bullish. Obviously, the medium-term trend is to the upside, but we know things like that can change very quickly, especially when you look at the structure of options. There's a lot of negative gamma, which basically means expect big ranges, expect big moves, so you got to be prepared for anything. But as I already said, I think this is the perfect point to be cautiously bullish. Obviously, these are my own thoughts and opinions, so I would love to hear from you in a comment below. Let me know, are you cautiously bullish, full on bullish, or are you still bearish? I would love to hear from all of you in a comment below. That's what I have for you right now. I appreciate all the good vibes. I'll catch you in the next one.
These cameras never really show how epic the sunrise is or how epic the sky looks, but you can see the sunrise right there. It's Saturday morning. We're doing a little weekend vlog here. I haven't really showed you guys my new house, but there's the pool. We got the boats coming. We got a boat going there, a boat going there. We got the little skiff. We got the jet ski. Liquidated. It's going big. Come along. Saturday. Adventures. We got the McLaren at the house this weekend. And then we got this new car, BMW M3 competition. It's got the carbon fiber roof. And then we got Victoria's new car. We are going up to Orlando to pick up Nana. Bright lining. Let's go.
Please stay clear of the closing door.
Well, we got the package secured. Got the Nana. We got the Lando. First time I went on a plane was with Nana. First time Nana's been on a private jet is with me. Hey. We're out here. Just out here.
We're really in them now, baby.
Everybody's always asking, where's Nana at? We're bringing her to the BDH, baby. How was the private jet? Wonderful. It was wonderful, she said. All right, so it is Sunday morning right now. We're gonna go do a little car shoot this morning. So I think when it comes to just pure like big dick house BDH, then the McLaren 765 is right there. But really when it comes to McLarens, the 765 is the top dog. It's definitely fast as shit. It's all carbon fiber, the whole entire frame. They call it the monocoque. Like I said, are you even rich if the doors don't go up? It just absolutely goes. The pops and the drops. I don't know, it just has that sound, man, that supercar sound. Every time you get in and drive, you just feel alive. All right, so we just got here to the BDH. Got the guys from Faster Media here.
Every time Patrick gets a car that we can go out with, it's like, all right, this is gonna be the new top face.
That boy's buttered my biscuit here.
I'm not even glazing, I'm just saying.
Here we go. Oh, the sun is shining. It's a beautiful morning here in South Florida. We should get an absolute banger video out of this. We got the microphones so you get really good audio. Insane camera setup. It's gonna be a good day. Nothing like driving a $500,000 supercar down 95, potholes and all kinds of fucking bumps and jumps and things and stuff and all that going on. All right, so we came down here to Miami. The views and the roads and the buildings and everything are just way more epic with the highways and stuff down here in Miami. We got like kind of the sunrise going on. So we just went down to Rickenbacker, went over to Key Biscayne, kind of shooting back over now to 95. We're gonna go through this pretty epic tunnel that you go over to the cruise ships. And just trying to get like a good variety of kind of backgrounds, you know, footage of the cars. Camera in front of me, we got downtown Miami over there. We out here, Sunday, baby, Sunday fun day. Woohoo! We probably got a little bit of that burnout in the parking lot there.
We got a fucking lot, yeah.
Fuck yeah, I want to see it. How many guys have you filmed that do burnouts in their 765s?
You?
Yeah, I don't even send me the clips, bro. I got it. We got it. This is 5K, dude. What do you guys feel?
Dude, hold on. I go, he's seeing red. Face the camera.
He's seeing. Oh! Oh! Bro, that looks so sick. I want to do a burnout, sir. Oh! Yes!
Oh my god.
All right, so we just got back here to the BDH. We survived. I'm gonna see if I can get the Bronco to start. The Bronco battery's been going in and out. Battery's still dead in the Bronco, so don't worry about that. The little baby Porsche, she's getting wheels on it. You see the Bronco got some new wheels, got the doors off right now. The weather's been beautiful, but I need a new battery. Just classic. All right, we'll put the 765 to bed. The BDH on the weekend, she quiet. Shh, everybody's sleeping in here. The BDH is sleeping on the weekend, but don't you worry. On Monday, we're gonna be right here making some money, baby. Hey, don't underestimate the F-250. Full speed, baby. Oh gosh, it's going. When you get back into the big truck, you feel like you're so fucking high. I would say if I had to sell every car, every truck, and I could only have one, I honestly would probably take the F-250. Not only can it do stuff, you know, it can pull boats, it can load up stuff in the back, got everything you could ever possibly need. All right, we just got back to the house, and I think we got to do a little organizing. Landon, you wanna make $100?
How?
Help me organize the garage.
Okay.
All right, so we just need to basically take all the shit out, and then we got to organize it and figure out what we need in here, what we don't need. Some of the stuff needs to be garbage put over there, you know what I mean? This is where Landon sleeps at, in the tackle room. Dreaming about fish. What do you want for Christmas?
Fish.
One big fish. Oh yeah, I like that. We can make that happen. We can make that happen. All right, let's get to work. Clean, boy, clean. Cheap labor, man. We're gonna make this place look good, I promise you. It's looking a little better. We gotta clean it up still. Gotta sweep from the top to the bottom. You gotta whistle while you work. You don't know what that's from? I think it's from Snow White.
Just whistle while you work.
All right, we got her all cleaned up. We got the BMW pulled in here. Now it's a sunny, beautiful day. Victoria is at Pyra handling some business, and we're just kind of cleaning up, getting ready for a big week ahead. We got Thanksgiving, we got Nana down here, and the house is looking good. You know, the funny thing is, it always seems like it's going to be a lot more work than it actually is, and then when you actually do the work, you see, man, it took us probably less than an hour to get it all cleaned out and organized and looking good again. Now, this room is the problem. We got all the fishing stuff, we got the foiling stuff, we got the racing stuff, we got, look at all how much crap we got. All those reels, we got all the jackets, got the tackle, we got more tackle, more stuff, we got some more rods, we got these rods over here, got the little rods, the big rods, the kite rods, the spinning rods, the LPs. But you know the truth, there's no truer saying. Rent is due, success is never owned. Rent is due every day, baby. Let's go. Let me see how my Warbucks account's looking right now. It's Sunday. Oh my, no way. You gotta be kidding me, look at this. Almost got tagged. Right now I'm long Ethereum. Got 55 Ethereum lots or coins, or whatever you wanna call it. Getting some pump here on a Sunday. Ethereum, Bitcoin kind of pumping back up. Making a little bit of money. What are you doing?
Oh, making myself a beverage window. It's the holidays, don't you know?
It's not even Thanksgiving yet, and Victoria's putting the Christmas tree up. All right, well, another day here, Sunday. It's a beautiful little sunny afternoon. Landon's out there running around, trying to catch some fish. See him over there doing something, look at him. It's Sunday, I'm bored. We got Landon, so we're gonna head to the BDH for the 6 o'clock Sunday open. See if we can't make a little bit of money. Talk about Warbucks, BTC. Been getting a lot of questions, people asking, what is Warbucks, Warbucks, Warbucks? Well, it's a prop firm for trading cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum. You ready? Yep. He ready, he ready. We were talking about it earlier, why I thought that this would be, of all the trucks, cars that I own, that this would be the one. If I was gonna drive one all the time, it'd be an F-250, and well, this is the baddest they come. We got the 39s on the front there. We got reservoir shocks, got the coils, front straight axle there, the drop arms, the gold wheels. cameras. Got the airbags in the back. Got the wrap on there. Got the Starlink on there. We got all the goodies. $4, BTC baby. HitItUp.com. Rate the new setup as
10 out of 10.
about to make some money. Sunday fun day here at the BDH. We got Landon, the money machine, the man, the myth, the legend. He's only 13, but he knows how to make the money. We're gonna do a little live stream after that. Go to dinner, go to bed, wake up in the morning, and get back here to the BDH to make more money on Mega Money Monday. So there it is, a fun little weekend, just enjoying life. I'm ready for Thanksgiving, that turkey, mashed potatoes. It's gonna be a good time. If you guys haven't already hit that like button, subscribe button, you know what to do. Don't forget to just get it. Well, get it done.
The countdown is on. Everything you need to get the edge at the end of the market day. This is the close.
Market breadth improves, and so too does investor sentiment. Live from Studio 2 here at Bloomberg headquarters in New York, I'm Romaine Bostick.
And I'm Katie Greifeld. We're kicking off to the closing bell here in the U.S. And let's talk about this market right now. The S&P 500 higher by about 0.7%. Big tech participating, but not leading. The NASDAQ 100 up about 0.3%. A really interesting tug of war going on between Alphabet and NVIDIA, which we'll get into. But I have to spotlight the Russell 2000 leading in a big way. That is your outperformer when it comes to the indices right now, up about 2% on your small caps. And then take a look at the 10-year yield, Romaine, down about 2 basis points. We have broken back below 4%, but who knows how much further we'll go.
Yeah, tug of war going on in the bond market, but go back to equities. The Russell 2000 certainly a bright spot on the day, and so too is the S&P Equal Weight Index, outperforming once again, a barometer for broader market participation and a barometer that has outperformed its cap-weighted brother from another in 3 of the past 4 sessions now. In fact, of the top 10 movers in the S&P today, only one, Keysight, falls into the tech category, and not a single one of those stocks has a market cap above $50 billion or a weighting above 0.5%. And some folks say that's actually a good thing.
My conviction is continuing to be long in the market, and I think that what we keep going back to is the fact that there's skepticism. There's really this idea that we're seeing a skeptic investor, so we think it is an opportunity to add. And then finally, we like the breadth. I mean, that's the real thing that I think is, even during this year, has been clouded.
Of course, this doesn't mean tech is down for the count. The rotation in the broader market, well, it's also been a rotation within the tech sector itself. AMD, NVIDIA, Oracle pushed to the side in favor of Applied Materials, Cisco, and how about Alphabet? The increasing divergence, evidence that the recent stumble in the AI trade less the beginning of the end, and maybe more a changing of the guard. Now, while there still are a lot of question marks around the AI trade, there are probably way more questions right now around consumer spending. You had improved guidance from companies